So excited to be here, guys. Happy Mama's Day to the earth, to my mom, your moms, us as moms. Like in some way, everyone's mothering at some point, and even all you men out there, at some point you've mothered something. So, every day is Mother's Day, in my opinion.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
just wish everyone a wonderful day, and I hope you're spending time outside. I hope your weather's beautiful, and I hope you're really sensing the abundance that Mother Nature has been providing with us to show us that things are we're shifting along here at a really beautiful pace. And we've got Joanne here today, and Regine. Joanne, how are you? How was your Mother's Day? Happy
Oh, I'm
Mother's Day.
doing great. Oh, my Mother's Day is doing very well. It's beautiful, calm, reflective. It's been a reflective day.
Beautiful. I was making some biscuits this morning and put on Raffi and then went and woke Jade up with baby beluga in the deep blue sea. Because I can. Norma Jean, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. Just it's been a great day. Still in creative mode, still staying focused on the directive, the
Mm,
build that we have going on,
Yeah.
and, then getting a chance, an opportunity to huff and puff up a mountain with you. While you run, I'm just like, go do you. I'll catch up at some point in time.
For me to have this extra energy where I actually can pick up the pace and get going in a different way, I'm very grateful for. It's one thing to be in nature and slow and active meditate it, but I've been called to actually like, all right, you can move your body again, right? You can pick up the pace of a Conte. And so that's been going on a little bit. So we have Joanne on today and back again, and it's super lovely. I'd love to hear all about your Mother's Days. Happy Mother's Day, Cindy. I'd love to hear how you're doing today, where you're at energetically, because I really sense that there's just been this really big shift going on. And in that shift, um, one, is choosing to elevate, expand, whatever you would like to call it, ascend, whatever you would like to call it. And part of that process is letting go of what no longer serves you and isn't working for you anymore. And, for some reason in this world, addiction is considered, even the word is actually kind of, ugh, I don't like it necessarily, but it is something that has been programmed into us. So it's nobody's fault. And there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You just possibly need some new tools in your toolbox. And I find one of the things that are missing in everyone's lives is that sense of spirit. And so I really love mind, body, and spirit being connected. It's been sort of our go-to the entire time with Adventures for Connection. And Joanne, would you like to put in your 2 cents on that?
Oh, definitely. I agree fully. It's within that spiritual context that I found for myself, and I can only speak on what I know and what I've experienced. When I started to get a little calmer, I started to gain inner peace.
Mm.
I began this new journey within the wall or the box of recovery, and it became all of that information over all of these years started to expand because I couldn't contain it in that box any longer. Because the spiritual aspect of it was very minimal, but it's actually the most expansive part of who we are.
Right?
And yes. And I was like, I could have had a V8, when it hit me, I was like, oh my gosh. And so that's the aspect that I like to focus in on is, understanding that as spirit, everything is workable, everything's fixable. There is a solution. I am the solution. And moving forward in the solution, which is me. And it's only right now in this moment. It's not
It's all
once
that
I have,
matters, right?
it's not, oh, once I finish this step, or once I have that sponsor, or I go to this meeting, or I've recovered from that treatment center. It's beyond that. That's on a physical plane. So it's an aspect. It's so much more extensive. I mean, than just that. But there again, what you're speaking on is the construct or the programming. Oh, you need to do it this way. This is the only way you can do it. If you do it any other way, you're, oh, yeah. So,
You're gonna burn your hand.
oh no.
Yeah, and so it really comes down to there's no right or wrong way, but what we're wanting to, and if it works, anything system works for you or program works for you, that's great. What we're discussing today is adding in that spirituality to it. And I'm finding, I know many people that have been involved or participated in AA or NA over the years. And there's definitely a small piece missing in that spirituality, uh, because at the end of the day, and we've talked about this a bit before, when you stand up and claim what you are, right?
Oh yeah.
Why are we claiming this every single time, right? So to make sure that there's nothing wrong with you, I just keep coming back to that. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. There's just an adjustment, a
Yes.
frequency change, a perspective change. Norma Jean?
Yeah, of course. It's one of those that when we look at how things were when we came into this world, in this existence, to live this life, this go around, we didn't know what was taking place. A lot of things were happening behind the scenes that were affecting family as a whole. And then of course affecting the environment. And when things get shifted and things get changed, and we're not aware of this, it's going to affect us in ways that you know we must, as the beings that we are in this human form, we're here having this experience. But when we don't know what's taking place and what's being altered, other than just that altering that's taking place that's affecting us, we can only do the best with what we have. And when you come to a position that you're having to be in, when we get oppressed or depressed in our expression, that's enough to really put us in a position in place to really question, why are we here? And that hurts. That doesn't just physically hurt, it energetically hurts, it vibrationally hurts to a level and degree. And the only thing that we had at the time was what was put before us. And the environment was changing so quickly and so much. So yeah, at this point, it's at some point, as we've come to a place and space within ourselves to see things differently, we do need to start taking responsibility for those choices, but understand that when you made the choices you made, that's brought you to this position in place to want to seek that assistance, that guidance that helps you to understand that there is a better way of being. Then know that there's no fault. It only becomes fault when you don't change, when you are given the chance and opportunity to hear, see, and experience something different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it doesn't just go for soft addiction, hard addiction, sugar addiction, food
Yeah.
addiction, social media addiction. There's many
Right.
forms of addiction, and there's no right or wrong way to resolve any of them. It's what works for you. But when you put yourself first and you put your needs first, you won't be so, I would say, vibrationally needing to adjust your frequency, right? So for me, it's always been time in nature, right? And just now that extra push of being able to be a little more active, a little more feisty in nature, where I get to actually, I was sprinting the other day, and then today I was hoofing up the hill pretty fast. And it's like, oh, I haven't done this for a couple years. And it feels good for me because then I get that sweat on. I'm like, okay, there we go. That's what my body wanted right now. And so to do what is best for our body. And then Norma Jean's, you know, working on building her heart heart vortex, so that she can keep up. And she's improved so much, but was never one to get outside hiking. Sit and be, yes, but the movement part is newer. And I'm like, we got lots of hiking to do, girl. There's so much hiking to be had.
Mhm.
Yeah. And, for me, movement is part of it, because as you move your body, you move energy. There was a lot of energy on the weekend, a lot of beautiful energy going on. We went into yesterday to do some ceramics and paint them. Oh, I thought I picked something easy. I did not pick something easy. Nor did I pick easy colors to do it with, and you'll get to see it at some point. But took my mom to do that, because my mom used to do a lot of watercolor painting, and just that really. And even Jade did something she thought was going to be simple, and it wasn't. My mom was done first. It was like, how'd that happen? You're the artist, not us. But it was really nice to just sit and be and get really focused, as Joanne, you would know with your artwork, because I know that's part of your process. But it gave me a
Oh, yeah.
new appreciation for that, going like to the micro, right? And just being so in it that everything else is kind of gone. So tell me a little bit about that for you, Joanne, and when you started painting and how it expanded for you.
Well, it was interesting because I was not per se a painter. I was more outside, athletic, this, that, and other. And I guess it was maybe 10 years maybe into my sobriety. And I wanted to do something different. I was like, this is, I got to do something different. I got to add to it. Right.
Yeah.
And so I took my daughter to a painting class at like a Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something like that. And I don't know, I caught the bug. It was crazy. I caught the bug. And then I started, well, I can't be as good as this one, or I'm not sure about that. And I just started going for it. And then I put it down because I'm a very eclectic person and I love messes. I love to create messes. Yes. And so, I put a drop cloth down with all the kids and I said, okay, let's have a paint day. And, it'd go in various places and just found it so cathartic. And then I started creating on my own instead of just with the kids.
Yeah.
And then I started loving it. I started, oh my gosh. And I started loving it. And I started getting paints and looking at YouTube and started to find my own zen with it. And there'll be a time as you feel physically.
Yeah.
In my being, I want to get my hands dirty. Like I want to feel the paint under my nails.
Awesome. But when you find you're painting and you're creating, it's like a meditation. It's an active meditation where everything
Yes.
goes away and you go into what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
feeling
channeling as well.
And it's all about the colors. I'm finding more and more certain colors I'm drawn to that I have no clothing of. I don't normally, and then I'll be drawn into the colors and, what is that? How does it feel? And then go into that and play with it and play with designs and play with messing up and realize that throughout this whole process, I'm the artist
Of your
right?
life.
Yeah. And of this moment, I'm the artist. So if the petal didn't turn out right, guess what? I can recreate.
Yep.
And that has transmuted, I guess is a good word, into how I share my recovery, my guidance is, it's about recreating what resonates, what is sustaining, what is filling. And it's not necessarily like a trial and error, but it's the willingness to try.
It's the willing, but it's also the willingness to fail and go, "Oh, that wasn't failure. That
Yes,
was me learning something very important."
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and I always say, especially with the business, that I just tried something. If it didn't work, oh well, I didn't pay for college,
yes,
university, so cost of right, cost of learning,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
just look at it as it's just part of the process. And those mistakes you make that you were like, oh, I could have done something different there. You will never forget that one. The ones you
no,
make that are good, they kind of just go, oh yeah, I got that. Right. Whereas these other ones, and so compare a little more. And Norma Jean, we'll let you tap in first. Your experience for creation, because you like to create a little more online. So let's talk about that and how it becomes part of your process and ebbs and flows, and share a little bit around that, because I think this creativity is really important.
Sure. And it's the one thing that I've come to master is my focus. And when I was young, I actually drew all the time. And then I was also creating things out of wood and doing gardens. I was very creative when I was young. It
Yeah.
was when I got out, and in my years and 20s and 30s that I just was being drawn more and more away from that because I was just living life at the time. So to be able to come back into that creative mode, especially here in the last probably 3 to 4 months, it's been so experiential for me because I'm learning new things. I'm learning things on the internet and through this Canva that we use, and it's like I'm like, ah, I can do that too, and I'm like, oh, we created a monster. So it's about finding that balance because you can have the ideas all you want all day long, but until you are able to bring in that creative part of yourself, that feminine essence, that is of that creative level of the vision of what you are thinking, all right, of what's given to you in that creative design, the feminine essence assists the masculine essence in formulating an image of what is coming to mind. And with that, in that focus, even there are times it's when I've created something, sometimes I can get a little boom, it's like, oh, I love all this together here, there, because which is strange because I'm very organized individual. But when it comes to my creativity with art or with what I'm utilizing as a creative design, it's like, oh, I want to plug this here, I want to plug that there. So, and I forget, for me, because I'm in this, it's like I'm not thinking about, is it something that's, depending on what I'm creating it for. So it's one of those that, it's good that you're here to help address where, okay, it's great that you have all this focus and all this energy and this wonderful creativity, but for this over here, let's tone it down a little bit. Okay, I can do that.
Yep.
Not a
Yep.
problem. So,
yeah,
it's great because now I'm just getting to create with something different with different tools where I used to draw. Now it's like I'm just utilizing what's in front of me that allows me to take all these plugins because there's so many plugins that you can utilize and create with now. And even though I can still draw, and I would probably be better than I am if I continued. It's been a beautiful process, and in that, with my focus, I'm able to just stay so honed in on that. And what's happening is I'm taking the love of the creative essence of myself, and I'm putting it into what I'm doing. And in that, I know that that's where I'm putting my my investment. All right, I'm investing myself in that creativity,
your energy, which
Yes.
is your currency.
Yes. So that's me creating something that's going to go out energetically across the board, depending on, you know, whoever it is that sees it and experiences it or whatever. And I know that creativity, I'm creating it from the fullness of the essence of who I am, of the feminine and masculine, which is in the total, the love of who I am. So that's an investment that is going to have a return on, you know, the ROI for the energy I'm putting into that, because it's so wonderful, it's beautiful, and you know, somebody's gonna like it. so yeah, this is about understanding where, you know, you put your focus and how you're putting your focus into that determines the level of investment of the energy you have that you're putting into it as to what the return will be.
And Joanne, explain how that works as you go through and you take somebody through this process of recovery. Are you implementing art in it? But you said you're reflecting back to them, like your life is your artwork, right?
Right.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
I think it goes back to being a co-creator,
Mm-hmm.
right? And laying out the foundation is, like we were talking about, is what's the focus? So if my focus, right? So when my focus is inner peace, because maybe I haven't had that because of the monkey mind. So what can I do to foster my desire? Right? And it's so similar. Exact. Okay. Norma Jean, stop tagging me. Is is it is that it's that we're using that in recovery, in sobriety, claiming that which we desire, the focal point. What is your focal point? Is it harmony within yourself? Is it discovering that as a female vessel, I also have a masculine, and being okay with that?
Yeah.
And coming to terms with that, and uniting the two and seeing how that can benefit you as the wholeness, the WHOLE of that which you are, and pulling those strengths from aspects that you thought were dormant, that you decided due to labeling of others that, oh, well, I can't do that because so and this and that told me I couldn't. And then you go, wait a minute, I kind of like that. Let me focus in on that. Let me expand that aspect of myself. You know, and that's kind of, you know, how we create that. And then we regain our focus into the genuineness and authenticity of our desire. You know, and that comes from like our heart, right? It doesn't come from a PDF. It doesn't come from a book. It doesn't come, everyone's got one in their own heart space of, I would like to become this person or that person. And it goes back to redefining our core values. It really comes down to, once we know them, then we can focus and expand and let the rest of it just drop off, just like leaves on a tree.
It sounds like the paint palette is kind of, you start with your values.
You see,
Right?
it all works. It all meshes. It
Yeah,
all meshes.
absolutely. And
Good
I don't
foundation.
think in school we're ever asked or explained what values are.
Yeah.
So, Joanne, can you expand on that first, and then Norma Jean? What are values?
Well, values are our core inner mechanism. It is what is our foundation. Usually from childhood, we adopt values of what we see in others. And as we grow into ourselves, then some of them don't really fit, but we have a clue. So then we're like, I really enjoy, I like being around people that are honest. Well, maybe that could be one of your core values.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's kind of a learning. It's kind of what worked, what didn't work, what sit right with you and what didn't sit right with you. And write them down. Like I always love to tell my classes, I'm like, this is your magic wand. That is your creator staff. And write them down and define them. Is that really, really kind of inward where I'm at? And then it becomes, okay, then from that standpoint, I can make better choices, better decisions, say yes or no confidently without having to people please. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mama Jean, what are some of your core values?
You know, that's a very important question, T. You know,
Yes.
because the one thing I'm coming to find is that they keep being presented to me more often now than ever. And for me, a core value is the being that I am expressing. And in that core value, what's the worth I see of myself? And it takes time. It takes time to understand that you are worth. You are of value yourself first and foremost. And the one thing that I value the most is my trust in self.
Yes.
And that took time. It took time for me to trust the conversations I was having with myself. Can I trust having these conversations and knowing that, I didn't have to argue with anyone else. I was doing that all by myself. But knowing that over time, as I come more and more into the being that I am, if I'd not had those conversations with self, I would not have been able to build that trust and build that core foundation with self in order to be able to start becoming honest with myself, taking responsibility for my actions, deeds, and words, hold myself accountable when I know that I would step out of line. So a core value is something that in this experience will define you, but you must first define it for you. So that way, you know what that expression will be when you interact with another individual or an environment or in a situation that will allow you to recognize and see what that is, of self. So yeah, that core value for me was trust.
Absolutely. I mean, some of mine, just to give you guys some examples, and then I've posted some in the different chats. But definitely for me, if it's not funny and playful, I'm not doing it. Right? Unless, it doesn't, I try and make it fun. So if I know there's a task that needs to be done, I will gamify it because that's how I like to play. Right? And for me, having fun, and that's no joke. Like I always try and have fun. And I'm really big on self-reliance was a huge thing for me just growing up. And now I'm more into co-creating. Right. So your core values can shift, but honesty, I'm honest to blunt almost with my staff. I'm like, and I'm same with clients. I'm like, would you rather I told you something you wanted to hear? Or do you want me to tell you the truth? Because I just can't be any other way. And I really truly believe in flexibility comes possibilities. If you can be flexible and change on the fly, what magic might happen? And so everyone's a little different, but there's some ideas for you all and to ask, and I'd love for you to put in the chat, what are some of yours? Right? This is just a list that was there, but what are some of yours that are important for you? And it's about building that foundation and then the framework. You're basically coming out of this as we shift. It's almost like a breakdown for a breakthrough. You're rebuilding yourself. And it's actually, I don't look at it like, oh, it's addiction. I look at it like my team made sure that I came right down to rock bottom so I could start afresh.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Mhm.
I don't have any judgment. In fact,
Mhm.
a really good friend of mine, her brother is labeled as bipolar. I'm like, no, he's not. He's tapped into the other side, right? So I have just a whole new perspective after all the personal development and work on self, play on self.
Mm.
I love learning. I love learning something new all the time. And I'm always like, oh yeah, I learned something new today. Awesome. Or created something new or went somewhere different. For me,
Mhm.
it's about living the best life possible. And so whatever that takes, whatever fun that is. And so, Joanne, I
Mhm.
know you've created you got a bit of a team down there that you're working with on a regular basis. Tell everyone where you are in the world.
I'm in El Paso, Texas, USA.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, um, it's a bit of a melting pot for different,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. It's
it's the same with
extremely
me.
diverse.
Extremely diverse, thank you. Yes.
Yes.
I think the world is extremely diverse right now. I think we're pretty
I
safe
think so.
to say that. Unless you're in the middle of the woods somewhere, and even then, you would have all of nature, and that's diversity. And so we're really adapting to more of that, and I feel we're really adapting to a lot of the false masks coming off
Oh, yeah.
so that we can see who you truly are. You're being more authentic, first with yourself.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of denial out there with that. When you're brutally honest with yourself, and as Norma Jean said, trusting yourself, like that's a big part of it. Joanne, can you share how that fits in to the
You
work that
know,
you
it's kind of like confronting ourself for the first time without numbing,
Mhm,
or without having any mind altering substance.
mhm.
And when you first look at yourself, I know for me, I saw a monster. I went, oh my gosh, you know, is this what it is? I was an it, not a person. And that was all that um, stuff in my mind. It was all stuff in my head. It wasn't true in physical sense. And the willingness. I keep going back to willingness because that is so vitally important, to be willing to even look at ourselves through clear eyes, through the sight of clarity, and go back and remember, as a child, did we really care what we looked like? We cared what we felt like.
Right?
Right. And to recapture some of that wonder and bring it into the now is so incredibly important, because that aspect of ourselves is not gone. It's not gone. We just kind of put it on the shelf for safekeeping. And now's the time, when we've had that moment of clarity, that they refer to it in the programs, is basically it's our soul saying to us, okay, we learned the lesson, we're good. Now let me show you what I have in store for you through these lessons. How we can expand you through this lesson. And that's kind of like what we walk through. And I did a lot of that alone. And I would like to be there for another.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. I think you were creating you were creating a new way of moving through life, so to speak. Because I think about it and I'm like, there I would say that 90% of the population, yep, 90%, okay, has an addiction to something, so it's not wrong. I actually think it's part of showing us it's just part of life in this planet, especially at this time. And so then the
Mhm.
question becomes, are you happy? Are you enjoying this? Are you looking outside of yourself for solutions to make you happy? because you got all the answers inside. It just might take some guidance to get you there. And that's what we're talking about today. And that's actually what Adventures for Connection is all about, and why we're bringing Joanne into the fold. And we're so excited to have her to work with those working with others in recovery, to support them and get them to release, let go, and enhance and enjoy what they're doing. It shouldn't have burnout. It shouldn't be stressful. It should be fun and easy and playful. And then in that side of that, creating that community of people to come together, doesn't matter
Mhm.
where you are, all over the world, and being able to come together and share in a safe space challenges, and somebody else may have the answers. So it's a co-creation, really. And that's what our desire is for all of Adventures for Connection. And we're looking forward to having more people on. But Joanne, we're love you so much. We're so grateful for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your energy is akin to ours. There's no
Yes.
question about it. We've been meeting for months about this and having
Yes.
conversations, and
Mhm.
I'm super grateful. Yeah, and grateful to Champ, if you're listening. Thank you.
Yes.
We're grateful for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And Norma Jean, do you want to add to that?
Oh yes. This is just the beginning. This is the beginning to allow people that will come across our feed or come across some Adventures for Connection, or however it is that they come across us, to get it's for everyone to understand that we accept people where they are, regardless of where you're at, what's taking place, what put you where you are, whatever it may
Yeah.
be. We have right here, right now, to be able to express to you there is a different way. Are you ready? Are you really ready?
Are you
Because
really
at
ready?
this point, yeah, because at this point, there are so many stories out there. So many people that have so many different stories as to why they have this modality, or why they have this addiction, or why they have this, or why they have that. Everybody's story is different. But the great thing about it is here at Adventures for Connection, the greatest thing that we want to be able to bring together is to be able to bring the appropriate people in here that have had the experience, that will be able to talk with someone else that has had the same. Because for me, I have no judgment whatsoever for your experience. You know why I don't? Because I understand my own, and I understand fully and completely why. And in this, I know we're all here having the same exact experience, just in different ways. We're all here on a journey. And in that journey, we we take ourselves so far away from our center, but we do it because we want to see how far we can go before we get to this position, to that position in place where we say, okay, I've gone far enough. It's time for me to work my way back home, back to center, back to the unified field where I know that peace, that joy, that love, that happiness exists. But we also know that, for individuals like myself, for the most part, I've done this journey on my own, just observing and recognizing and understanding the interactions that I've had each day. But I know that there's some of us that would love to have someone to walk beside you in some shape, form, or fashion. And that's what we're here for. To be able to let you know that we want you to express who you are. We want you coming here and asking more questions. We want to know where you're at and what's taking place and what's going on, because that allows us to know what we're looking for in order to bring about that assistance. And the beautiful thing that has come about is through this direct connection that we have with Joanne now. And I am so excited. I am so proud to be working with someone that has done and gone through the same thing we have, that y'all are. We're just here. We have we have this foundation. And all we're saying is we're here, and we're offering what we can, where we are in any given moment, in any chance and opportunity and time to bring forth individuals that will have that ability to bring forth a relatable story, a relatable experience that gives us a chance and opportunity to bring y'all here to know that you're heard, you're important, you're valued, you have worth.
Every single soul has worth. Absolutely. It's like digging for gold or silver, whatever your choices are, platinum or whatever you choose. It's like getting that out and getting all the mud off of it and chipping off the clay and and become the bright shining star we know you are. And it's within every single one of us. Joanne, will you add to that?
It's becoming possible instead of thinking we're impossible. We are possible, and the sky's the limit to what we can accomplish within ourselves. Knowing we're supported as we are, just kind of like what Norman Jean was saying, and of course, Tanja, you've always said it, is meeting me where we are, where you are, and then walking together. You know, one is not in front of the other. Then no. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And everything is valid until you decide. Until you personally decide. You know, I think I can let go of that programming or ideal or value or anything like that. That's kind of, you know, how I found me is just remembering and going, hold on a minute, I am possible. And let's kind of expand that a little bit more. You know, and it really seriously was not in a book I read. And we all have that innateness within us. And, you know, of being the best aspect, version, person that we can be. You know, I always go back to, I can't give you something that I have not experienced or haven't done. So I think that's why I had such a vast experience.
Right? Me too. Number two.
Yes, all of us. In order to have a genuine empathy to the core, so that we honestly and authentically could meet them, anyone who it is, where they are. Yeah. I just, that is so, it feels like it's in my DNA, is that's how much I really am under that belief structure is, you know, I've experienced this and that, Tanja's experienced, Norma Jean, so that we can say, you know what, it's doable. It really is doable. It may be a little uncomfortable, but you know what? You can persevere in this now moment. And then when the next moment comes and you're still here, you can go to the next moment. And we got you. Because we're living proof. We are living proof it is possible. So if I am possible, you are possible.
Absolutely. And, you know, you just remember that little seed has to go down into the dark, wet soil and grow roots down first before it can come up into the light. So no matter how dark you think your life is, no matter how dark you believe you are, it's not true. Because once you bring all that darkness up into the light to put some light on it and shine it, it becomes gold. Because quite often, your darkest moments become your biggest gifts. And I see it time and time and time again. There's a fellow who does painting who was in a motorcycle accident, and he phoned me to see what the going rates were because he's not settled from ICBC for his accident. We were having a really good conversation. Really kind soul. I've always liked him. And he's like, I don't know. I can't do anything in my life that I enjoy. I've just been so depressed. And I'm like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what can you find joy in? What can you remember? I said, he goes, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to paint again. I'm like, uh-huh. So what will you? I said, once you go through this, I already know that you're going to turn around and help other people get through stuff like this. So that is generally, it's the biggest gift. And so then again, it's not happening to me. It's happening for me because otherwise I probably wouldn't have changed. Yeah. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have shifted. And then I wouldn't be who I am today. And who would want, no, that's important that I am who I am today because I'm happy. Yeah. Yeah, joy is important. Yeah. And what brings you joy?
Can I share something, T?
Yes, please.
And I want to be able to share this because I think it's vitally important because of the conversation that we're having right now.
Yeah.
That what comes forth for me, excuse me, is that I have many conversations with myself, and
Yeah, I know.
I thoroughly enjoy those conversations. But I come into so much because I'm being given so much to understand about myself. And today, I wrote this up earlier today, and I felt that it was something that I was going to be able to bring forth onto this platform.
Beautiful.
So, and this is what I wrote as I was having this conversation. I'm here to tell you that you grew up being taught that your choices, actions, and feelings were to be judged, that they were either right or wrong, but neither you or they, your feelings, your emotions, your actions are either right or wrong. You are a homoluminescent being here embodying an energetic vessel meant to have a human being experience of self on every level, aspect, and expression known. That when we stop looking outside ourselves with that self-imposed judgment, the world will begin to change for us, for you, because you recognize you are a world, you are a cosmos, you are a uni as well as a multiverse within. And when you stop judging that, you will begin to stop judging everything. Because this also speaks profoundly to the day that this is what's called Mother's Day. But every day is Mother's Day. Because the one thing we begin to understand is I brought this forth was it also helped me to understand that this planet that we're upon is a mother. It is a womb. And that one of the greatest blessings that we were given as females is the fact that we grow worlds within us. We birth them. And it's a very powerful and it's a very, very profound position to be in. That the feminine essence is so profoundly beautiful beyond words. And to know that when we come together as the female or the male and know that in that creative process, no matter what it is that we are in the process of creating, know that when the seed the sperm seeds that egg, a world is created. That world is the child that comes in, that's coming in behind us as the next generation, that we as the adults, as the ones that are coming into this, are the ones that will teach our children where they really are. And I'm here to tell you that this life that we've experienced is a beautiful one, has been a beautiful one. I know that for myself. My only hope is that here on this platform through AFC, I'm able to walk with you to show you you have as well. I just must help you to see that, because all I can do is tell you the world that you are. So I wanted to share that. I wanted to share that today because I feel that it's very vitally important and beautiful for everyone to know. You are the purpose. You are the reason. All we must do is take everything that you've been taught that you're not out and put it back where it belongs, because it doesn't belong within you.
Woo! Ah! Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Beautifully said. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's, I get to meet a 2-year-old tomorrow, and I'm so excited because that 2-year-old isn't, I don't want to say tarnished, but isn't programmed. He's just love, right? And I'm so excited to meet this little soul, because these little souls
So
coming in
pure.
right now, yeah,
So
are
pure.
magic.
So
Yeah,
pure. It's the their blueprint is so pure right now.
right? And
Protected.
and their knowing coming in, and their ability to see, right? And to communicate should you choose to observe it and listen. And that's what we want for everyone, is to get rid of to unprogram, it's installing a new program, let's put it that way. And it's a program you choose, and you get to literally select. It's like picking out a movie. I want that part, and I'm going to have that part, and then I'm going to mix it all together, and that's going to be the new me. But I'm just going to take my time with it, because it's like painting a picture. And as Joanne said, as you paint that flower and, oh, it's not quite the right color, let's just wipe that one out and start over. That's how long you get all the time to take with it. Your mission here is to enjoy this life, have fun, play, and have childlike wonder. Yeah.
Please.
Joanne, I'm just going to unmute you, though. We're having some feedback there. There we go. Joanne, would you like to share some final words with everyone on this day? And yeah.
Just enjoy your day. Enjoy this moment. Just claim it as your own. Whatever's going on, just know that all is well and you are safe. And then anything that's going on, this too shall pass. And the best that you're going to create will come to you. And trust your gut. Trust your intuition. And I love you big time.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. Norma Jean?
Like I've said before, during this, I feel that this is very vitally important for everyone to know. You are here for a reason. And in what's great about it is I'm coming into this myself so much. I'm seeing, why I'm here, what's all taking place, and to be able to provide that guidance to tap into that for each and every individual that comes here and says, I want to know. But the most profound position I get to play is witness. To witness everyone that comes here, that we meet where they are, that in time I get to see that they will see the same as I in their own way. And I wait to hear your stories. I wait to hear what it is that you experience, because you see, that's the beauty of all this. I'm here telling you mine, and it's beautiful and profound that people want to hear mine. So I will give that in return, because I'm going to be just as excited to hear about it as you're going to be excited to tell me. So thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here to hear what we have to share. It's beautiful. It's profound. It's fun. It is childlike when you get to a space and place within yourself to see the beauty of all of this, all of it. And believe me, I have so much to share on this as time goes on. because I've come into much in these past 2 days. I just so much clarity to who I am. And I want to share this with you if you so want to hear. But I know you're going to have stories of the same. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's with a deep gratitude that I have this opportunity to connect with you ladies and all of those that choose to watch this online. You know, we are just showing up and just being authentic because it's all we got. That's who we are. We don't have another way to be. We don't have ulterior motives. We don't have agendas. You know, we're just love. Yeah, and we see you. We see all of you and your capacity and your ability and your guidance. And there's many of you struggling right now. And just know that we're here. You can reach out. You can reach out. We will always reply. Yeah, we got you. We're here for you. And we love you. Go and enjoy the rest of this day.